Hello, Jack Middleton, the Empowered Vegan here, and in this video, we're gonna be making dal. Hello and welcome back to the Empowered Vegan YouTube channel. Now, if you're new here, then you're gonna wanna hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you get notified every time I post a video. So on this channel, what are we doing? I am showing you cooking techniques, ways to make vegan food taste delicious, and serving up recipes and tips and tricks for you to elevate the way you eat on the weekly. And I'm super excited about this week's video because we're making one of my favorite Indian dishes, dal. So what is dal? Dal is basically cooked lentils. They can be thick, they can be thin, they can be somewhere in between, and they're always seasoned with fragrant Indian spices. I like my dals rich and creamy, so this recipe is going to be a rich and creamy dal. All right, so let's get started. The very first thing that you wanna do is you wanna take your cumin seeds and your cinnamon stick, throw them into the pot, and start heating them up on medium-high heat. What this is gonna do is this is gonna unlock their natural aromatic flavor. I always like toasting whole dry spices first before I add any ingredients, and then the ground spices later once I've got some veggies in there. So next thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna add in your oil, add in your onions, add in your salt, and you're gonna saute that down until those onions are nice and translucent. I have no idea how many times I've said that. On video, in person, I feel like I say that all the time. I say that at least once a day. Once those onions are translucent, next thing, you're gonna add in your aromatics. So in goes the garlic, in goes the ginger, and then you're gonna saute those until they become nice and fragrant. Then you're gonna add in your lentils and you're gonna toast them a bit in the bottom of the pan. So now is the time that you want to add in your dried spices. Like I've said before, it's super important that you put in your dried spices and you toast them before you add any liquid. Main reason for this is that spices, when dried, become dormant. You have to use heat to unlock their flavor, and with Indian cooking, that is super important because really all of those flavors, all of those spices are the absolute foundation of the dish. So once you can really smell your spices, once they're really aromatic, probably after about 30 seconds, then you can add in your stock and your coconut milk. Next, you can add your nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast isn't really a spice, it's a yeast, so you don't need to activate it in the same way you do spices. So I add it in at the end and mix it in once all my liquid's in there. Then you can bring it up to a boil, drop it to a simmer, and let those lentils do their thing. So after about 15 minutes, you're gonna wanna check on those lentils. What you're looking for is you're looking for them to be soft, creamy, and cooked all the way through. It'll kind of resemble porridge in terms of its texture. Now at this stage, you can always thin it down with a little bit more liquid if they're not fully cooked yet and put it back on the heat, or you can leave it just how it is. And then once it comes off the stove, it's ready to serve. Now while that's cooking, I recommend that you make the basmati rice from week 1 of this Indian cooking series because this dal needs to go on something. And if it's not gonna be that, I would definitely recommend some naan bread because that works great. There's a bunch of people out there shaking their heads because I just said naan bread. I don't know if you know this, but naan means bread. So if I say naan bread, I'm actually just saying bread. So you're welcome because now you won't make a fool of yourself in front of your next Indian dinner with your Indian friends. Also, chai means tea. So when you say chai tea, it's like saying tea. All right, so there we go. That's some dal, super quick, super easy, really delicious, packed with protein and creamy and perfect to go on top of the rice that we did a few weeks ago. Amazing. I could probably eat this whole batch on my own if I just sat down and really committed to it, but I would say that you should share this with friends. Probably one friend actually, that would do. So get ready for next week because next week we're gonna be doing the final Indian dish of this series. It is one of my favorites. It's made with eggplant, and I know for some of you, that is a deal breaker. But for those of you who like eggplant, it's gonna be amazing. called Bag and Barta, nice and spicy. And yeah, join me next week for that dish and complete your base repertoire of Indian vegan dishes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.